Hi everybody. In today's video, I want to talk to you about relationships within the Philippines. And like you, I've listened to so many videos about relationships, and I apologize for the cockerel, but my door's open and he's right outside. Um, I've I've listened to videos about relationships, especially here within the Philippines, and people comparing them with their home country. Now, I I find it a bit strange why some men come to the Philippines with the sole purpose of meeting a partner, but yet they will not commit themselves fully to that partner, like buying a house together, or um, you know, there's a bit of mistrust with foreigners with their Filipino women. Um, Most men think they're being taken for a ride, or they're being used, abused, or whatever. Um, Province girls are better than city girls and everything else. But I just don't understand the attitude of some of these men, because if you meet a girl in the Philippines, what difference is it if you meet a girl in America or the UK? Okay, the only problem is the cultural difference and the language difference, and many other differences that you will encounter with a relationship with a Filipina or a Thai girl or whatever nationality in Asia. There is always going to be a clash between cultural ways and the way you've been brought up and different ideas and views. But deep down, you're in a relationship because you love that girl, or you should love that girl. Now, some men I know come over here just for the sake of one night stands, as having a good time and then going home. Other men come here with the intentions of finding a wife, but there's always that area of mistrust. Now, everyone says don't buy property here, because if it doesn't work out, you can move on and you can rent and move on and rent and move on. Well, I didn't. I met someone, um, and I bought a house uh, in their name, mainly because I don't like paying rent, and I don't see why I should be paying someone else's mortgage for them. And also, I've had issues with one rental property before, and I was not happy with it. And I don't like the way that landlords have the authority to do whatever they want with the property. Admittedly, it's their house, but you have no say in what, if he wants to put the rent up, if he wants to do this, if he doesn't want to do that. If you got a complaint, he may not even do it if it's going to cost him money. And that's why I decided to buy a property in the city, which I've renovated, and I'm very happy with it. I don't sit down and pay rent every month to someone, and I'm not helping them pay their mortgage. If I have a problem, I rectify it myself. But anyway, this is a commitment. And this is the problem with a lot of men that come over here to the Philippines. They find a girl, but they won't commit themselves. They're happy to rent a place. But like I said, there's always that mistrust. But I've been in relationships in the UK, and the mistrust or whatever they do is no different to what happens here with a girl. Um, at the beginning, everything works out fine. You're madly in love with each other. But as time goes on, things happen and you drift apart or you start arguing. And it's exactly the same here. Even if you get married to a Filipina here and you buy a property in her name, a year or two down the line, the relationship may not work out. And it's exactly the same as if you just buy a property with a girl. But there are things that you can do now, like the property that I have. The I have an agreement with the solicitor that if anything happens to the relationship or whatever, I can stay in in this house until I die, and I'm quite happy with that. And when I'm being carried out in the coffin, I'll quite happily give her the keys and say thank you. But all relationships can have problems. All relationships can end, whether you're in America, UK, or the Philippines. But in the UK, you're committed to that person when you get married, or love grows as you get to know them. But for some unknown reason, a lot of men come here and they meet a girl, but they've always think that they're going to be misused or abused. Maybe misused is the wrong word, but abused and being taken for a ride by their family and everything else. But you can always say no, and sometimes you have to say no to people. I mean, why do men come over here in the first place to find a relationship? Is it because they've had enough of their own country or the girls in their own country? Do they find they're too hard to control and they want a nice little Filipina that doesn't have a lot of money, never been taken to a restaurant or a cafe or whatever, don't have no two pennies to rub together, and they feel that they can maybe have some control over them? But there's no respect, because if you're with a person over here and you love them and you live with them, then you should respect them and treat them uh, equally, really, equally, because they're your partner. But like I said, a lot of people will not commit themselves. Even when they get married, they live out in the province and they build these big, wonderful, huge houses for only two of them, or maybe the woman has children, and sometimes things don't go right, so the man has to move out, and then he'll start complaining about it. And that's another thing. If the woman has children, it could be the same in England or America. You could find a woman that you really love, and then find out a week or so later that she's got two grown-up children, or a young daughter or something. Now, you can accept that. And if you go down the line of adopting, you've made that commitment. They are yours. You have signed the paper saying that you will take full responsibility. Now, some men, if they find out that the woman has got children, would say, bye-bye. I am not interested. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. But if that is the case, then does that man really love that woman? If you love a person, then you should be committed enough to take on whatever she has. Okay, it's not easy taking on someone else's children, and here in the Philippines, I believe, there are various laws about that, and you may have to. The father may pop in every now and again, or the children go and see the father where he lives, but you have to accept it. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of men that come over here are not fully committed to a relationship or finding the right person. They come over here just for a good time. They can meet one um, who they think is the right one, and then a few weeks later they find somebody else and find somebody else. It's easy over here. It's very easy. Why? Because of the financial situation. And when someone doesn't have any money or doesn't have a job through no fault of their own, the way the family commitments are over here, they are obliged to help the family. And I will admit there are some girls that will go after foreigners just for the sake of the money. But surely, guys, you've got enough Western experience to notice that and realize that and have the balls to say no. Because if you keep saying no to, can you buy my brother a motorbike because he needs it for work, or can you repair, uh, can you build my parents a house, then just say no, because it's obvious that they're after just money. But there are a lot of young ladies here and mature ladies with children who are desperately longing for a long-term partner, but someone that will love them. Some of them will never ask for anything in the world. Some of them don't even have a family. They're alone and trying to manage bringing up children. Now, what I'm trying to say is, guys, a relationship with a Filipina here is no difference to a relationship in the UK or America. It's between a man and a woman. And I've had relationships in England. They start off fine, the same as anything else, but then they turn sour. And one of my relationships when I was working overseas, and I used to come back for 2 weeks after every 6 weeks, I I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go back to work because I was more happier at work. So all relationships deteriorate, but you've got to come here with an open mind and really think about the relationship that you want to have with that person. And if you think she is the right person, then you may still be married or separated, or there's no reason why you cannot buy a property in her name if you trust her. That's what it all boils down to. Trust, but you won't commit. Too many people on the videos say don't buy a house in their name. If it doesn't work out, you can move on. But then you're entering a commitment with that at the back of your mind that it may not work out. How many times do you get married in England or America on the day you get married thinking, it may not work out? But you don't know, it could work out. It could be the most happiest relationship that you've ever dreamed of. So guys, just be a bit more open and honest and commit to the person that you really want over here. Don't just come over here for a good time, because a lot of these girls and mature women don't have the time. They don't want to be messed around. They've been messed around so much by their other partners or Filipino men. They want a relationship and to settle down and just be happy. That's all they want. So why don't you just think about that and try and make them happy? Okay, that's my say. I don't know whether I've made sense or not, but anyway, have a nice day, and I hope you're both very, very happy.